explore a little bit. Hit something there on the bottom, probably like a rock or a stone. Yeah, so far casting pretty well. This is a brand new line though, so it's not as frayed as the other stuff. But we shall see. We can get anything. Rivers are fun because the water is moving, so one spot can change just kind of based off the current. And just trying to make really long casts and cover water. It's basically, you can kind of see the current going over there. They've got these shoes with nice grip on, so hopefully I don't slip and fall. Not really concerned about that, but you never know. I was almost to the other side of the river. Ducks out there. Oh, felt that. I felt where I went from no current to current. Very interesting. Definitely feeling structural changes and stuff. Try for a little bit longer on this and then I'll switch till the Ned rig and slow down maybe. Kind of fish these shoreline areas, see if there's any fish kind of holding. They may not be that active today. Not very windy, but spinnerbait's just my choice for covering water. Yeah, duck moving, that's how quickly the current's going. Well, first backlash, and that was my error. I did not thumb the spool correctly, so that's on me. User error. So anytime that you start accumulating backlashes, that's when you want to be careful with your line. It will get frayed and fringed, and you want to just make sure that you are taking care of that. So everything is about how you thumb the spool. You want to maintain some sort of contact, some friction to kind of control the speed, and then you dial it in with your brakes and then your spool tension knob. So you can slowly start to release it as you get control to kind of get more distance. But distance isn't always the game. Sometimes it's just strategically placing the bait where you need to put it. But with this moving bait, you know, ideally we want to cover as much water as we can. So I'm trying to give it as much air time and then velocity going forward so I can get it to get some pretty out there. But with the current, sometimes it will just take it. Look how far that duck is down from when he started over here. So we shall see. One of the downsides about coming to a spot like this where there's like a picnic table, it means that there's traffic, which means people are probably routinely fishing out of here. So it's probably a more pressurized space than before. So I'm looking to see if there's any sort of tracks into the woods where you can kind of get some distance away. Man, I keep hitting the same thing over here. Oh, there we go, got a fish. What do we got? Nice. Nice little largemouth. Take a look at that. Oop. I thought it was going to be a smallmouth, but here we are. Nice little river fish. There we go. So again, not too big. Man, that's probably like less than a pound. But Sometimes the spinnerbait's a little too aggressive with the flash and everything. It's great for low visibility water though. So we'll give this guy a little break. Back up here. All right. So you can see the Ned rig there. Where's that fritz side? There it is, right here. So this guy. I've also got a panfish rod here just in case if I end up going to that pond, things start to shut down here, we'll kind of move. But this is that fritz side. I don't know how well it's going to do on a river, but same things apply. Get that spool tension knob and then kind of crank this. I haven't used this reel in a while. This is a Abu Garcia Black Max. This is one of the first. And then this rod. Yeah, so that didn't that did not go very well. So we got to tune this one a little bit more. Yeah, it does swim pretty well. Let's go. Also depends on the weight of the lure too. If it doesn't weigh that much, it's a little bit harder to cast, especially if you have the heavier line. I usually use just like default 30 on almost all my rods just for consistency. But we shall see. I'm gonna keep bringing this down. Yeah, it doesn't weigh very much either. So I gotta be careful with casting. And this Black Max is a 6.4, so a little bit better for cranks. You don't get as much of a, whatchamacallit, you don't retrieve the line as much though, but I don't know, do we have a fish? No, we don't. So it stays in the strike zone a little bit longer. Bring these brakes down and just slowly inch our way out there. But with these lipped baits, you want to keep them moving to get them to dive down to where they're supposed to be. So I think this is like 5 to 6 feet, so we'll kind of scrape down to the bottom there, and you know, if there's any fish in the bottom, they'll take notice of it. So let me go. That was a little wild. Let me tighten that up a little bit. Yeah, this rod feels so much weirder. This is some cheap Berkeley rod that I had. I ordered some new stuff, so I might switch it out, but to me, gear's gear. It doesn't really matter unless you're like a professional or every aspect of your arsenal matters and there's money on the line. I don't really care. There we go, that's a good cast. Kind of dialing that in there. My loose feels a lot better than this rod does though. It's also shorter. So I kind of like having the longer, what do you call it, extension here. You get a little bit more flex and a little bit more leverage in the rod. We shall see. Kind of fishing multiple depths with that spinnerbait. We were mainly fishing kind of the upper part of the water column, and so now we can get deeper down with these, whatchamacallit, with this crankbait. But I am showing that cottonwood stuff or whatever, the stuff that cakes up your line flying about everywhere, which gives people a lot of allergies. Oh, that's what happened. Sometimes you'll catch stuff and then it will screw up your bait because it will provide resistance in the water, and you don't really want that because it should dive. But yeah, this little bait is so light though, it's hard to cast. It's extremely hard to cast. I feel like I'm casting nothing. What the heck's going on? It's weird, it was like not doing what it should have been doing. It's weird, it's got almost like a like a lipless crankbait type of body, but then it's got the lip, so got a lot of wobble. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. Yeah, I'll implement some pauses to see if they hit on the pause. If not, there may just be like no fish in this area, which is a possibility too. There we go. So I'm gonna like reel it, let it pause, reel it again, let it pause. I don't know what I hit. What did I hit? It's not a fish, it's not fighting back. I'm not sure what the heck happened there. Scraping the bottom, I can feel it. That is an interesting bait, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't feel like a traditional lipless crankbait. It's got all this movement to it, which is not a bad thing. And yeah, wow, that does look really good actually. So maybe I am understanding the hype a little bit now. A little tension a little bit more. It's got some crazy movement to it. Fish just have to see it though. Yeah, some bubble and stuff going on over here, so there might be some fish in the shallows. I do like making the bottom contact though, because you can definitely feel the feedback.